You have to look at what is true. So if science says that something is true, I think it's important to look at that, and even if it contradicts your faith, even if it contradicts your beliefs, you need to ponder that. You need to value that. You need to look at that and say, how can I justify this for what I believe? What's up, guys? So today's video I'm actually doing for a friend of mine, and Jess, if you're watching this, I'm talking to you. And this is something that I hadn't really thought about before until Jess, or clever name here, asked for my opinion on it, or that I do a video about it. And through thinking about it, I didn't realize how much of a thing this was in my life, how much of the contrast between religion and science and just the kind of war that's going on there. I didn't realize how much that this has kind of followed me through my life. And what do I mean by that is, a lot of you probably know I'm a pastor's kid, and through growing up in this kind of environment, or just being a pastor's kid, it was kind of like whenever there was something of science that contradicted God, then we would ignore it and we would say that's not true. But then whenever there was something of science that it was like, oh, see, this makes sense for teleological design or for intelligent design, and so therefore this is evidence that there's a God. And it's funny how people do the same sort of thing with Christianity or God. It's like they look at the Bible and they see the things that they want to see, and then they look at science and they see the things that they want to see. But it's so important for both, and for both to not be cherry picked. So let me explain what I mean by this. And to explain, I want to give you this analogy. So there are higher and lower forms of truth. And let me give you an example of this. So I could say, I'm the greatest in the entire world. I'm the best. I'm the greatest in the world. Just some statement like that about myself. Now, there's one truth that is me. There is nobody else in the history of the universe that is me, that is like me. I'm not a copy of anyone else. So technically, there's a truth there that I am the greatest me because there's no other me in the entire world. But there's a higher truth that I'm not the only one on the planet. Am I the greatest person in the world? No. The higher truth is I'm not the only one on the planet, and so there's a ton of other people that are probably a better human being than me. I don't know. But you get the point of what I'm saying. There are higher truths and there are lower truths, and I think the same goes for science and religion. And you have to look at both. You have to look at what is true. So if science says that something is true, I think it's important to look at that, and even if it contradicts your faith, even if it contradicts your beliefs, you need to ponder that. You need to value that. You need to look at that and say, how can I justify this for what I believe? And also in science, there are things that I've seen that science has discredited, like the argument from miracles. The argument for God from miracles doesn't make sense. There's holes in that argument. But still, I know of people or situations where a person of atheistic thinking or scientific thinking, whatever you want to call it, hears of or sees or has experienced some sort of supernatural something they can't explain, but then they just say, oh no, it's probably just the way I'm thinking, it's probably just this and that. And granted, it is a lot easier on this side of thinking to kind of swipe off, swipe away that sort of experience or encounter by rational or logical thinking. But it is not for this camp of thinking, which is the more spiritual and religious camp of thinking, to contradict things of science. But I think that it's so important to pursue and look at both of these things, to pursue science and to pursue whatever you believe in or whatever you don't believe in, or just constantly be in a state of questioning. And I know that's not a place where people like to be, like, especially in the culture that we're at. Like, people like to know things, and people like to say, this is my opinion on the matter and I'm going to fight for it. And it's like, to get to that opinion, it's funny how much people don't fight for that. Like, they just find what feels right to them and what they like, and then they say, this is what I stand for. And it's like, come on, seriously? But again, I think it's so important to look at both sides of things and to say, this is truth here, this is truth here. How does it add up? Because I think there is an ultimate truth. I think there is something that when I look at just even the smaller, like the whole thing of I'm the greatest in the world, like even that, like even the small truth in that, but then looking at a bigger truth, even that there is evidence that there are smaller truths and bigger truths, it makes me think, what is the biggest truth? What is the ultimate truth? What is the truth that says this is it? This is the truth. And I think that's the search that we're on. That's what we're looking for in both of these pursuits of science and pursuits of religion and pursuits of God, whatever you want to call it, that there is a search for the higher truth. Like, I think all of us want to rid of faith. Honestly, I think atheists, I think Christians want to rid themselves of faith. Like, there are scientific theories that are still theories. And it's like these, like the whole multiverse, multidimensional thing. If you haven't seen my video on that, go and check it out. Card up here, little advertisement. But a lot of those things are theories. They are not scientific fact. And the same can be seen over here. Like the Christians, all that. Nobody claims to know how God works. And if you do, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. You're an idiot. Should I say that? Should I keep that in here? I'm going to keep it in there. Whatever. But a lot of these things are just theories, and it takes faith to believe in that or not believe in that. But I think the goal for these pursuits is to know. Like I was talking to on Quora, which I love Quora. This is not a plug for Quora, but if you're not on Quora, get on Quora because it's amazing. But on Quora, I was talking to some people that live in Israel, people that speak Hebrew, and just like the study that I've done on the etymology of faith and belief and all that. I was talking to these guys, and they said that in the original Hebrew, the concept of faith doesn't exist because God is just as much of a character in the Old Testament that, say, Noah or Adam or Abraham is. And it just goes to show, like, they know, like there's not a thing of faith or even belief. Some of you might, I'm like cautious of saying belief because I think belief is very, very close to knowing, if not knowing. But that's a separate video. But I think the goal in all of this is to absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, know the truth to where there isn't faith, or there isn't a form of belief, or whatever you want to call it, that we know something. And I think that is it. Like, imagine our society, imagine our world, what it would look like if there was, if we just knew, like if faith wasn't a thing, if belief wasn't a thing, and everyone knew that either God existed or he didn't exist. What would our society look like? I mean, honestly. And I think that's the pursuit of this science and religion and of these, what is the highest truth? And you can't cherry pick it. And both are so important because the result of these could change the entire world culture, could change everything. So I think both are important, and don't cherry pick. Don't cherry pick at all. Like, look at if you're a Christian, look at the science that contradicts God and really question it. And if you're an atheist, look at the argument. Well, I'm sure you have, so I don't have to tell you because most of you are very intelligent. So those are my thoughts on these two subjects. Don't cherry pick. We're looking for the ultimate truth. It could change the course of the entire world. So be in pursuit of it, stay in questioning, and I think both of these sides are so incredibly important. So that's it for today, guys. Hopefully you like this video. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, and share. And again, Tally TV next Thursday. If you haven't seen the video for that, check it out. I'll leave a card up here for you to check it out. And I will see you misfits in the next one. Peace.